Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC guy. Today I want to share with you some tips on using the Decoder Buddy from Nix Trainz. So stick around for a few seconds and we'll get started. Okay, so just what is a Decoder Buddy? Well, I have an example here of three of the ones that are offered. So you can see it's a small motherboard that allows you to plug in a 21 MTC type decoder. Now, MTC means Markland Trix connector. And that goes back to the origin of these kind of decoders. The connector here in the format for the pins was designed by ESU, the makers of Lokesound, for the Markland Trix company to use with some of their locomotives. So that's why it's called a 21 MTC. It's got 21 pins, 21 contacts built in. This makes it a great decoder for installations where you have a lot of functions. On the Lokesound decoders, there are up to 12, I believe 12 wired functions on the version 5 now. So in order to be able to use all of those, you need to have some sort of a connector that has that functionality provided. A lot of the locomotives that are being made today, the manufacturers are providing a 21-pin connector. However, in a lot of cases, they're only providing connections for the speaker and for the headlights and maybe ditch lights if that's provided. But some of the other functions, the wired functions that you might have access to, are really not available, because the manufacturer does not provide all those extra solder points for the wires. So that's where one of these Nix Trainz Decoder Buddies comes in. Because right here, first let me go ahead and show you what's available on these, because they do have a lot of functions here. So let me zoom in and we'll take a look at each one. Now this one here is the original Decoder Buddy, and it has a separate connector here for 8 different wired functions. So you can have ditch lights and beacons and strobes, anything you want, up to 8 different wired functions. And that's in addition to the wires that go out to the speaker. And another nice thing about these is they have, let me get the, this little circuit board here is removable from the main board so that you can do your wiring for your extra lights and your headlights right here, and then you can plug it in afterwards, so you don't risk damaging your decoder in the process. The nice thing that he has provided on the board, he's got the track pickup contacts here, the 2 speaker contacts, a common contact and a ground for hooking up a keep alive. He also has the motor contacts right here. So, it's easy to wire all these things up. So that's one of the real positives about this. You can add a keep alive to just about any of these 21 MTC decoders just by connecting the ground and your common right here. Okay. Now, it gets a little tricky when it comes to the Lokesound decoders because, to be honest with you, you're voiding the warranty if you use a keep alive other than one of their power pack type stay alive devices. And they've been getting a lot of problems with these being used with their Lokesound decoders and burning up the decoders. So if you're using a current keeper from Soundtracks or a keep alive from TCS or one of the various other manufacturers type stay alive devices with a Lokesound decoder and you burn it out, they might not honor their warranty on that. So I wanted to warn you about that because they warned me. So be aware of that. On their website or on their Facebook page, Nix Trainz Facebook page, and also I was told on the Lokesound ESU Facebook page, they have a write-up, a description on how to wire these up for use with the power pack. So be aware of that, you can use those power packs with some of these, but you have to be aware of how to hook them up. So take a look at that if you're into it. And if you can't find it, give me a note in the comments, and I'll get some additional information on that. So that's what these offer. They've got all those different contacts. Note that there also are resistors here on board. And on the original version of the board, these are 1000 ohm resistors. On the newer version of the board, the version 5 Decoder Buddy, they have the 2.2K resistors to match what is being used on the Loc Sound direct boards. Okay, so and also on this they have 12 connections for wired functions, wired lights, whereas the other one only had 8. So those are a couple of things to point out on that. This right here, though, is a really sweet little version of this. It's called the Mini. It has the contacts up here for the forward headlight and the rear headlight back here, and the common connection here, and then the 2 track pickup contacts at each end of it. So you can hook those up fore and aft. And right here, it's got the speaker contacts, it's got additional functions, it's got the motor contacts, it has the voltage plus and the ground contacts here for use with your keep alives. And also right here, there are contacts for the additional 3rd wire on the power packs. And one of these goes to the version 4 Loc Sound decoders. This one goes to the version 5 decoders. Now let me point something else. Do not throw away this part of the package, because on each one of these, it has the pertinent contacts for use with the various Loc Sound decoders and other types of decoders. So be aware of that. Don't throw this away. You will need it in order to be able to make your connections. And on the back side, it's got more information. On this one, it has the pin out connections, or the soldering contact info for that additional connector board, and the same thing on this one. So be aware of that. Do not throw these away when you open the package if you buy one of these. Now, why would you want to use one of these as opposed to using a standard motherboard like this motherboard from TCS? This is a TCS Wow Sound motherboard, and notice that it has the capacitors on board for their keep alive, and a spot for a 21-pin decoder here, and all the other contacts for the speakers and for your track pickups and your headlights are all provided on this. But notice how long it is. Because they have provided the additional the capacitors for the keep alive, it's a bit longer than these others, and in some locomotives it's just not going to fit. This will not fit in here because of these screw posts. So, and there are other situations, I'm sure, where that would be an issue. So that's where you might want to consider using either the Mini or the standard, because it is a bit shorter than a standard motherboard. Now, you don't get the keep alive built in, but you can add the keep alive through the soldered contacts. They'll fit in places that a standard direct type decoder or an Athearn or an Atlas type motherboard will not fit. So if you've got one of those and it doesn't fit into a locomotive, then your options are for these, the standard Decoder Buddies or the Decoder Buddy Mini. The main difference with the Decoder Buddy Mini is that you don't have that additional circuit board on here to be able to solder to. So that limits the number of wired functions that you can access with this particular device. However, it does give you your forward and reverse headlight contacts, your keep alive, your speaker, and a couple of other solder contacts for functions. So you do have at least the minimal normal number of lighting wire functions that you might want to use. If you need more capabilities, more functions, then you would have to step up to the Decoder Buddy version 4 or version 5. To sum it up, the 3 reasons for why you would want to use one of these over a standard AT type board, or what's called the Wow Sound motherboard. One is that it fits where others do not fit, such as an installation like this one here. And you'll be seeing this installation again in the November issue of Model Railroader. So I'm not going to go into a lot of details on this one, except to show you how this fits in here. The other thing is it makes it very easy to install a Keep Alive, because the contacts are provided to solder to directly on these little Decoder Buddy boards. And finally, it gives you easy access to the full multifunction wiring capability of your decoders. So, you can get the most out of them. Now, another neat little thing, and let me zoom in again to show you this because it's hard to see, is this little guy here. Okay, this is a lighting function board, and it fits on, in place of the, turn it the right way, it fits on here in place of the little circuit board, and it has banks of surface mount LEDs. So you can go ahead, install your decoder on here, and then put this on, and you can test your functions in advance, and then go ahead and wire up the additional, the other circuit board here, and know that all of your functions work in advance. Okay, so that's available also. So where are these available? Well, you can get these from Nix Trainz, and Nick will do custom resistor installations for you. So he can do versions of these that have no resistors on them. He can do versions that have 1K or 1000 ohm resistors, and he can do ones that have the 2.2K resistors on them. So that's your option. These Decoder Buddy Minis now come with either 1000 ohm resistors built into the board, or you can get them with 2.2K radials, or you can ask Nick via email or via his contact on his website about doing special runs for you. And he will add resistors, custom design resistor setups for you at your request, but you must do it through his website, nixtrainz.com, nixtrainz.com, and check that out. He does sell through his website. You can buy these also at various dealers. I know that Streamline Backshop sells these, and you can find these also on eBay. The other thing to be aware of with these is that not all options may be available from the eBay sellers and the like. You might only get the 1K resistors on these, and the 2.2K resistors on the version 5, and the 1K on the Mini, or you might only be able to get the Minis with separate resistors. So that's something to be aware of when you're purchasing these and looking online at these on various dealers. Make sure that you know what you're purchasing, because there are different varieties of these and different resistor setups. Okay, so that's something I wanted to point out. Now, as far as installing these, what I do, and you can see here, I'm going to zoom in again. What I do when I'm installing one of these is I just use double-sided foam tape here on the bottom to attach it to the top of the motor. And that works out very well. And then, you can do your soldering to your contacts all through here for your headlight, for your track pickup, speaker, all of that. It's readily available. And then you just plug in the decoder and you're ready to go. So it makes it a very quick and easy type of installation. Well, I hope that gives you another resource that you can use for your next DCC installation. These boards are really nice for fitting in tight spaces, and also they give you the option of using a lot of the extra functions that are available on some of the 21 MTC type decoders today. So take a look at Nick's website, Nix, NixTrainz.com, and he fully describes how to use these, what's available, and you can buy these from a lot of different dealers, both on eBay and the internet as well. So, have a good week, and we'll see you on Friday with another new video.